Yeah, you are welcome to Destination West Africa project launch.
Goge Africa and her project partners, plus stakeholders in the tourism spectrum, are desirous of making West Africa a prime destination.
West Africa has no dull moment. It has all the potential to be a prime destination.
From Lagos to Accra, Senegal, Abidjan, Guinea, Conakry, Sierra Leone, the Gambia are all must-visit destinations. So, let's take you there. Destination West Africa beckons.
Tourism is one of the primary drivers of economic growth, creating jobs and generating foreign exchange for emerging economies throughout the world. It is no wonder thus that regional economic blocs in Africa, having realized these immense potentials of tourism, are positioning themselves as top destinations through policy formulation, implementation and execution to ease travels, movement of goods, services, and attracting investments. Although the largest economic bloc in Africa, the trade volume between ECOWAS states is obviously low. In its latest economic impact report, the World Travel and Tourism Council revealed that the tourism industry is likely to grow at an average rate of 5.8% annually between 2022 to 2032. In addition, employment is expected to increase. The relaxation of stiff border regulations and the resumption of travels post-COVID-19 around the world has greatly impacted positively on economies once crippled by the stinging effect of the pandemic. However, with strict border rules still existent in several countries, a new window of opportunity paves way for the exploration of regional tourism within West Africa. Boasting the largest human population, fascinating diversity of cultures, beautiful beaches, and an array of local cuisines. West Africa holds tremendous promise of becoming a vibrant hub for intra-regional tourism, trade and investment capable of transforming the economic fortunes of low-skilled workers and economic inclusion for women and youth. Sadly, despite these immense potentials and the existence of a visa-free policy for citizens of ECOWAS member states, intra-regional trade and investment in this region have been stifled by a number of challenges not restricted to long road transportation time. high travel costs per kilometer due to cumbersome border and customs clearance processes, poor airline connectivity, and a host of other issues. In spite of ECOWAS ensuring political stability, an imperative for tourism, travel and investment is the lowering of these barriers, hence the birth of the Destination West Africa project by Goge Africa and its partners.
Easy movement within framework within West Africa is always been one of the issues which was addressed at the beginning when ECOWAS itself started. And that is to the effect that the free movement of people, the protocol of free movement of people and goods, that was the vision, that was the idea when it was started. And I think at the beginning it was okay. It was a little bit tough, but gradually the institution itself, of course, built on it. And I think we must admit that there's been some problems and challenges as far as practical implementation of free movement, easy movement within the West African sub-region that is concerned. And this is understandable. This is understandable, given the different level of what I refer to as the capacity of the respective institution. I talk in this regard with our respective immigration units, within West Africa, the respective countries, Nigeria, Togo, Benin Republic, Ghana, Gambia, Senegal, at different level of development and capacity and competence too as well. So these, of course, has been hindrances as far as free movement itself is concerned in West Africa.
And of course, the ECOWAS region is not faced with visa issues. So why don't we travel our region enough? So Destination Africa was to shine the light, if you will, on the issues that are causing the barriers to travel and look at ways to mitigate them, lower them, and make accessibility better.
Now, if we don't patronize or visit each other, how can we get others to come and visit us? It's not possible. So there's the need for Destination West Africa, and that's why we're on this project, to see how we can talk to the stakeholders, everybody, and see how we can improve travel within the region, and also to alleviate poverty, because there's a whole value chain for tourism in West Africa.
As the world celebrates World Tourism Day with the apt theme, Rethinking Tourism, tourism practitioners, delegates from the diplomatic circle, and stakeholders from allied industries gathered for the launch of this project at the eco-touristic hotspot of Lekki Conservation Center, Lagos. Given the opening remark, the Consular General of the Ghanaian Consulate in Lagos, Ambassador Samata Gifty Bukari, decried the huge spending of West African tourists outside the region.
Tourism is income generating for every African country. However, we neglect what we have and we rather travel to the West. We travel to Asia and other countries to see what they have. Henceforth, let us try as much as possible, like the organizers of this function have done, Goge Africa, to develop our own. There are a lot of tourist attractions all over Africa.
Addressing the challenges of interconnectivity, the soft-spoken Chief Operating Officer of IBOM Air, Mr. George Uresi, advocated for the entrance of more airlines flying the West African airspace.
We'll be plagued by issues of one, unstable airlines, weak airlines that have come and gone and come and gone and come and gone. The difficulty for you to be convinced that if I want to go to Mali, if I buy this airline ticket, reach Mali, they will bring me back. You start worrying because of the inconsistency we have seen for many years. But recently that is changing. There are some airlines, there's ASCAR, there's African World Airlines in Ghana. They are beginning to give us a sense of, I can buy their ticket and go somewhere. I know that after my 5 days there, they will still be around to bring me back in terms of their schedule and on time.
Heading down memory lane, Chief Mrs. Nike Davis Okundai, the proprietress of Nike Art Gallery, extolled the tenacity of Goge Africa in spotlighting the richness of the West African region, while urging all present to consistently promote the cultural assets of West Africa.
And everybody say, Goge Africa. Yes, they work hard. I want to thank you for making the tourism possible in Nigeria. I don't know how to say much, but I want to tell you, everybody, thank you for doing this for the whole country. We have to do it for ourselves. If you people don't do it, nobody will do it.
The event proceeded to a deeply intellectual and expository panel session. On the panel were 6 seasoned travel and tourism experts, drawn from across different sectors and subsectors of the tourism industry, and from different parts of West Africa. Imeudo, in her contribution, advocated for the development of tourism sites and the inclusion of stakeholders in the industry.
I'm here today at the Destination West Africa project. It's an initiative that is seeking to ensure it's able to build together the African continent, bring together the West African region, where we can create travel, seamless travel within the region. Also, an opportunity to be able to create a tourism economy within the West African region. Now, when we are able to lower the barriers within the region and then create the synergy within the stakeholders, the players in the industry, the tour operators, and everyone, the government, then we understand we are able to build a tourism economy within the African region. Now, this is what we seek to do with Destination West Africa project. We are trying to create that visibility. So we have arrivals into the region. We're able to stimulate travels within the region. Going forward, we want a West Africa that is building an economy, a West Africa that will drive in traffic from every other part of the continent. We want a West Africa where we can showcase the potentials inherent in the region.
This project seeks to cover the whole of West Africa, bringing them as one single nation. It's supposed to close all barriers that had initially stopped easier trade, easy commerce, easy tourism. We are bridging that gap by bringing all the stakeholders together in one place and being able to get them to agree on certain things that have been issued, from the border control to the tourism places, to tourist attractions, to hotels, to anything that makes an economy thrive.
West Africa has an opportunity to grow our GDP in form of tourism within the waterlines. We have potentials and opportunity in the waterlines. We have landscape, we have natural waterfalls, we have different sorts. Example of the return to Ghana that happened not just recently. A lot of people in America talks about this. They want to do it again. There are places in Africa that has history that we can showcase. More so, it will increase our GDP in West Africa.
West African countries need to partner, need to come together to be able to better market our destination. And that is what we just started today. This is what Goge Africa kick-started today. With all of us from all these countries, great things will begin to happen. And you can imagine, when these tourists coming into Africa would not have to do only Benin. They will visit Benin, of course, the beautiful things that are happening around Benin, and then they will visit Nigeria, visit Togo, Ghana, all the way to Ivory Coast. You can imagine the dollars that will be coming into this part of our world.
Reiterating that huge cost of travel across West African corridor, airline operation expert Mr. Femi Adefuokwe identified the depth in competition and the increased need to shore up infrastructural deficit evident in West Africa.
It's been highlighted that one of our biggest challenges is cost of air travel because of lack of competition and very high taxes. Of course, if those numbers increase, if the places that we're going, take the airports for example, West African countries have invested in their airports. Senegal has a new airport, Lome has a new airport, Accra has a fabulous airport. It's not even new at this point in time, but it's fabulous, continuous improvement.
We're such a beautiful destination, full of potential, and we need to wake up. For me, I will do one major area for me, which I believe strongly. We have to take it from the angle of the leaders of this great continent.
We are very glad to be partners in this, and also to be a country that also will be the next destination for this project. And this project is very important for Africa, particularly for West Africa, because we have to show our culture, we have to show what we have, and also to ensure that we develop the tourism sector. Because if you look at all of our countries, particularly in Africa, or particularly in West Africa, and in specific in Gambia, we depend a lot on tourism. And given that we have to promote tourism, we are very happy to be associated to Goge Africa, because they are the promoters of this destination, West Africa.
What we intend to benefit from this initiative is to make seamless traveling between all the West African states work, and then we need to travel among ourselves in West Africa. We need to increase traffic within our countries, and we need to make sure that the money stays in West Africa.
The highlight of the event, the launch of Destination West Africa project, ultimately presented itself. The team members, ambassadors of the project, diplomatic envoys, corporate partners, and dignitaries present stepped forward to launch the project by cutting a cake, a symbolic representation of a collective eco and resolve by West African tourism stakeholders to collaborate towards enhancing intra-regional trade, travel, and tourism.
Congratulations.
Immediately after the official launch, the Lagos State Cultural Troupe, in an energetic performance, thrilled the spectators with a cultural performance, signatured with the presence of iconic white-garbed Eyo masquerade.
Goge. Goge.
Goge.
Goge. Goge.
Goge. Africa.
Africa.
Africa. Africa. Africa.
Africa. Africa. Africa. Africa. Africa. Africa. Is the only thing I want to hear. It's the only thing I want to say.
Goge Africa is for Africa and is about Africa. Goge Africa for Africa.
Here are some tips for traveling by road. This is Travel Tips. Don't go away.
Here are some tips on how to enjoy yourself on a long bus ride. Number 1. Bring fun things to do. Make sure you have enough to entertain yourself. Good things to bring include music player, books, tablet or laptop computer. Engage yourself. Look out through the window at the scenery or talk to other people. Keep a calm mentality about the bus ride. This is harder than it sounds, but when mastered, it is a big help in many areas of life. Avoid snapping at or arguing with fellow commuters, for that will only make the trip dramatic and uncomfortable for everyone. Finally, when the bus does make a few stops, don't hesitate to get off and stretch your legs. Travel Tips is brought to you in conjunction with Goge Africa Travel Club.
Aye, 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 aye. Uza wa Goge, uza wa Goge, uza wa Goge, uza wa Goge.
I trust you enjoyed this episode. You have seen the need for Destination West Africa project.
We hope you join us on this journey. Destination West Africa
beckons. Ciao.